Nick and I just got married, and this is how we planned our incredible mountain wedding in about 1 month. The big thing that we had to figure out after we got engaged was where and when we wanted to get married. We have been dating for about 7 years. When we got engaged, we talked about not doing a long engagement. I really envisioned the wedding in the mountains, and I love the fall. And if we waited, we would probably have to wait till at least July to get into the mountains for the snow to melt. So we thought maybe we can pull this off this fall. We considered a lot of different options from Utah, which is where we live, Montana, and then Ouray, Colorado, which was one of our first ideas that we eventually circled back to and ended up booking and doing everything in Colorado. Ouray is one of my favorite places out west. It's definitely my favorite place in Colorado. We've been there together. So it was a little stressful trying to narrow down exactly what we wanted to do. But once we figured that out, everything else kind of fell into place. I had to find a dress really quickly as well, which I won't go into too much detail about that, but that was probably the most stressful part of the planning, was finding a dress such last minute that fit me pretty well, that didn't need a whole lot of alterations because there wasn't a lot of time for that. My dress was ready and in my hands, I think 2 days before we actually left for the wedding. So it was a very tight timeline. One of the big things that drew us to Ouray, of course, the mountains and the beauty there, but I also saw an article completely unrelated to the wedding that there is a hotel, it's called the Western in Ouray, that was built in 1891. That's crazy, but it was recently renovated. And I saw pictures of it and I just thought, oh wow, this is so beautiful. It'd be so cool to stay here one day. And then a couple weeks later, I remembered that I saw that article and thought this would be the perfect place to come back to after the wedding ceremony. So this was an elopement, and I was kind of struggling with how do we make it feel kind of special after. I didn't want to just go drive up into the mountains, kind of have a quick 10-minute ceremony and then just go back to a boring hotel room or something. So I was trying to think of ways that we could really make the whole day feel really special, and finding this place was just so perfect. It had so much character. It was really unique, and we ended up booking one of their suites, and this functioned as not only our room, but just a little venue for everyone that came. And it was so perfect. We had a big outdoor balcony, a little kitchenette, and just a little gas fireplace. It was such a beautiful, beautiful room. And it really pulled together the entire day. Plus they were running a promo at that time, and so we actually got a little discount on the room as well, because this was a bit of a splurge. This is not somewhere that we would normally really be able to stay, but it was so perfect for the wedding. Or of course, we wanted photos for our wedding, and I started looking into different photographers, kind of knowing that we weren't going to be able to find anything last minute. I mean, photographers for weddings and elopements book out months and months in advance, probably closer to a year in advance, and so I just knew that wasn't really going to be possible. So we had our friend Presley, who was coming to use Nick's photo gear and take our wedding photos. So that was something that was so exciting to us, was Nick being able to take his own wedding photos and be a part of that process. And it would have felt weird for us to kind of hire a photographer and Nick not have any sort of input or say in the photos of such a special day in our lives. And so I think it was really fun for us to be able to have a little bit more input in that and bring our friend Presley along, who knows us, instead of having a stranger. And it just worked out so good. Nick's gonna do a video on his channel about more of the photography side of things. In addition to Presley coming, we had our friend Hope come, and she officiated the wedding for us. This was so special to us because she's such a good mutual friend, and it was really important to us that we had someone that knew us well officiate our wedding. In Colorado, technically you don't even need an officiant. Colorado is one of the easiest states to get married in, but we just really wanted to have that special ceremony moment. So Hope came for that. And then my dad came and Nick's parents came. So it wasn't just the two of us. We did have our parents there. Kind of made the day feel complete. I think it would have felt really weird for us to not have parents there. So the fact that they were able to make the really long journey from the East Coast out to Ouray was just so special and really made the day perfect. We got the whole thing planned, and the wedding was on Sunday, and Nick and I left Salt Lake City on Thursday to go down to Ouray, pick up the marriage license, and scout out the location where we wanted to get married. We are on our way to our wedding in Colorado. So we left Utah this morning. We're in Colorado now, and We're almost to the little town where we're gonna pick up our marriage license. Are you excited?
Very excited. Sick of driving though. And I'm hungry.
We just picked up the marriage license and now we're gonna head up into the mountains and try to figure out the spot where we want the ceremony to be. These fall colors are some of the best I have seen in a really long time.
We are at 10,600 feet.
And it is pretty warm out. I was worried that it was gonna be too cold, but it's nice. I gotta worry about maybe getting sunburned. I feel so much more relaxed just being out of the city and in the mountains like this. I was a little stressed the last month trying to plan all this and get it all together. But now that we're here, I'm just excited and starting to relax. Look at this view.
Go a little further, maybe we end up by those aspens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty, but if we keep going down there, we're definitely gonna be not getting as grand of a view. Let's go back up the hill. We're gonna turn around because we've been going down and we're kind of thinking of going down into this valley here, but we also have to consider that we do not want to leave everyone that's coming to our ceremony completely sweaty and tired. So I think we're gonna go back up the hill and scout out a couple other spots that we saw that leave us a little bit higher. So we still get this beautiful grand view, but yeah, it maybe isn't as steep to get to. So you really can't go wrong here. I mean, every direction is gorgeous. This is the current favorite spot here. That's the background. I would be here with Nick. Got really good views pretty much every direction. Well, I really like this spot, but my concern is it doesn't give us as much variety of photos. Like that first spot that we liked, there was a lot of different options there for photos after too. That was a very productive scouting mission. We were out there for about 2.5 hours hiking around. I think we're gonna go with the very first spot that we found. We talked about all the different photos that we'd want to get in that location. There's a lot of different options and it's just so beautiful. So I think that's what we're gonna go with. And since we are kind of doing our own photos, we really wanted to do a lot of that scouting and planning beforehand so that we can just enjoy the day. We're not worried about photos. Whew. A lot of driving today, but it was a very productive and fun day and nice to be able to hike around after sitting in the car for so many hours. So
Whew. More driving.
Yeah. Good. See ya. Being able to plan our own elopement and all this stuff, yeah, maybe it's like a little bit more stressful to add that on, but it was so much fun to go wander through the mountains and find where we wanted to get married. It's a cool thing that we can always go back to that spot. We actually put the GPS coordinates on our marriage license. And so I just thought that was really cool and a special spot that we can return to the rest of our lives if we wanted to. And it was a lot of fun to kind of scope that out. One of the big reasons that we wanted to do that, of course, was because we knew we weren't going to have a whole lot of time. We didn't want to have everyone hiking through the mountains trying to find a location. And so we knew exactly where we wanted to go, kind of how long and how hard of a hike it was going to be. It wasn't far. I think it was maybe 3/4 of a mile or so in. And it was just perfect. No one was too sweaty on the time we got there, and it was fun to have a little bit of a hike to get to that spot. So that was Thursday. The following day, Friday, we kind of hung out in the town of Montrose, which is where we were staying the few days before the wedding, because Ouray was really expensive. It was also pretty booked out for that weekend. And so we stayed in Montrose on Friday, and we actually went to the Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park for the day. We hiked around, we took some photos, we actually ate dinner there because I brought a lot of my camp cooking stuff. For dinner, I'm just doing something super simple. I have peppers, onions, some cooked rice, and some cooked chicken sausage. We're just gonna put it all in the pan. Got some sour cream, butter, and it's gonna be really easy, but it's kind of just a classic go-to for us when we're on the road. And don't want to make it too complicated.
Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know. Talk for hours and never slept. Two silhouettes on the concrete steps. We watched the sun as it slowly crept from the horizon to the place we met. Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know.
And then the following day, Saturday, is when people started to arrive for the wedding, and then the wedding was on Sunday. So Sunday morning, we all met up for breakfast, and then we drove down into the town of Ouray. I think if I were to do it again, this is the one thing that I would maybe change, is being in Ouray a day before the wedding instead of having to drive down there on the day. That wasn't really possible with our dates in the last minute. Things were booked out on that Saturday and it just wasn't possible. So on the wedding day, we were able to get into all of our hotel rooms early, and I'm so grateful to all the staff at the hotel for getting our room ready literally hours before check-in. It was like key to making everything work in the day. So I'm so grateful to that. We were at the suite, and then everyone else stayed at the Ouray Inn, which was just a block down the road so people could walk back and forth to our room. It was perfect. And they also had those rooms ready early for us. So it was really, really nice of everyone to accommodate that. We got into the room, I think around 1 o'clock, and based on our timing of everything and the planning, we really wanted to be leaving to drive into the mountains by 3. And so that did not give me a lot of time to get ready, because one thing I did not mention yet was that I wanted to make my own wedding cake. At home before we left, I baked the cake layers, I wrapped them up and froze them, and then we tried to keep them freezing in the cooler for the few days that we were traveling before. I also made the frosting at home and just kept that in the cooler. And so we get into the suite at about 1 o'clock, and I immediately start assembling the cake. So I had 2 tiers and then 3 layers on the bottom, 2 layers on the top. And so I just basically assembled everything and did a quick crumb coat on it and put that in the fridge. And then I went and I got my makeup on and my hair. I did my own hair and makeup on the day. That was something that was kind of important to me because I really wanted to feel like myself. I wanted to look like myself. And I have gotten my makeup done a couple times throughout my life, and I have always hated it. I don't feel like myself. And so I just knew that I wanted to do my own makeup. I also didn't really know how or if I could get someone to come and do my makeup, and that's just another cost. So I watched a few YouTube videos, I practiced at home, and on the day I just did it. It looked fine. Same with my hair. I was able to practice a little bit the hairstyle I wanted to do. I just watched some YouTube videos, and on the day, I put it up in my little half updo, and I thought, okay, this is all right. I would like to have a chance to redo it. I never did. So my hair was probably not like ideal, but I also feel like when I look at the photos, I feel like I really look like myself, and I felt really beautiful on the day. And so I'm just really grateful that I didn't overcomplicate the hair and the makeup and look back at my photos and just not really feel like myself. So that would be one tip that I would have if you're thinking about getting married. Anyway, so at this point I'm scrambling. Hope is helping me get the dress on and get everything like ready to go. And then while this is going on, Nick's mom was also in the suite and she was setting up a charcuterie board for everyone, which I had planned. So I brought a bunch of crackers and cheese and chocolate covered almonds and dried fruits and things like that. And Nick's mom just assembled all of that on 2 boards because everyone was gonna come up to our suite. We'll have some lunch, hang out, take some photos, and then we were gonna drive up into the mountains. So Nick and I did our little first look in the suite. Everyone left except for me, Nick, and Presley, who was taking our photos, and we did our first look. And then everyone came up, we hung out. At this point, I had to scramble and finish my cake because I only did the crumb coat, so I was frosting it in my dress and it turned out so good. I actually decorated it with some slices of blood oranges that I dehydrated at home, and they look like watercolor almost. They're really, really pretty. And so I had planned to just do a really simple decoration with that, and I love the way that it turned out. It's a little messier than it would have been if I had more time, but overall I loved it, especially because I made it and we were still able to have a cool wedding cake despite traveling and doing the elopement. So after that, we actually headed into the mountains to start the ceremony. The drive that we had timed to the location was 50 minutes. And so we took 2 cars, me and Nick and Presley and Hope, and then our parents were in another car. And so we all drove up there, did the hike in, which was really fun for everyone just because it was so beautiful. We were at over 10,000 feet and it was just kind of a really cool adventure to have as part of a wedding. And then the ceremony was really short. It was about 10 minutes. We did some family photos and then our parents made the drive down. And then the rest of us hung out up there to do all the photos. And it was just really fun. We spent like an hour and a half hiking around, doing different poses and different photos and kind of just trying to capture all of the wedding photos that we had dreamed of. And then we made the drive back down to town.
Hearts worth falling for. Oh, and with open arms I'll carry yours. Come, rain or shine, I'll cover you up and calm the skies. As long as you are mine, I'll be there when you need me. You can count on it every time. It won't always be easy, but just as sure as the sun will rise, I'll be there when you need me. With every tear that falls from your eyes, oh, you have me completely. I'll be there when you need me. Trust, it builds a home, and ours is a sacred place where we both belong. Faith, a planted tree. Oh, and it's grown its roots under you and me. As long as we both breathe, I'll be there when you need me. You can count on it every time. It won't always be easy, but just as sure as the sun will rise, I'll be there when you need me. With every tear that falls from your eyes, oh, you have me completely. I'll be there when
To end the night, I just love the way that we decided to do this. So instead of going out to dinner, which would have been fine, but not quite what I would have wanted to do. We ended up having our parents go pick up a bunch of barbecue takeout. So we got chicken, ribs, and brisket, and then a ton of sides, and they brought it all back to our beautiful suite, and we all just hung out with the gas fireplace, had barbecue. It was really casual and told stories and had just a lot of fun. I loved that. Everyone was waiting for me to just get barbecue sauce all over my dress, but I actually did a pretty good job. I only got the tiniest bit on me and you couldn't really tell in photos. It was just such a perfect way to end the evening, and then we got to cut open our cake, which tasted so good. It was a lemon poppy seed cake with a lemon curd on the inside and a cream cheese frosting. So it was so good, and the whole day was just perfect. I am so grateful that we had good weather. And like I said, everyone at the hotels were so welcoming and accommodating and congratulatory. Is that a word? Everyone was just so sweet, and we are beyond grateful to everyone that came and helped us out and helped us make the day so special. When I think about the day, when I look at the photos, I just feel like the wedding was so true to us. I mean, we got to wear our bedrock sandals on our wedding day. That's one of my favorite photos, is when you actually can see our feet. And then for the ceremony, we actually took them off and went completely barefoot, which was something I really wanted to do for the ceremony. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so supportive all these years with me and Nick. The comments when I announced we were engaged were just crazy, and so we are so grateful to this community for being so supportive, and I hope that you enjoyed coming along on our wedding day.